Some dirty looks, of course. Bus drivers didn't stop for them.
Really?
They didn't answer them when they had questions, and they talked in a very rude Japanese.
We went to onsen, and they flat up looked at us and said, "This isn't a place for foreigners."
Last video, I asked Japanese people some of the things they dislike about what foreigners do. In this video, we're going to be checking out what foreigners dislike about some of the things Japanese people tend to do. Let's get into it.
When going to the center or the onsen, I knew you had to be naked, but I thought it was kind of okay to wear a bathing suit or something. But it's not. You actually need to be naked. I'm pretty uncomfortable with that.
Small things like people carrying a handkerchief or a small towel with them. Because, for example, when you have public toilets, there is nothing to use to wipe your hands.
Did you get yourself a handkerchief?
I did the next day.
In Europe, public transport in general is always running late. In Japan, you really have trust in public transport that everything will be punctual.
Japanese people always prioritize their privacy. When you talk to them, it just feel that don't want to talk to you that much. Like on the train, people keep very quiet and just doing their own things.
I use a lot of cash. I'm used to use my credit card a lot. That was surprising to me that I had to withdraw money most of the time.
At Japanese universities, I feel like everyone's dressed up wearing nice clothing, and so when I first went to school, I felt kind of out of place because I feel like Americans come to school not dressing too nice, right? They'll come to class wearing like sweatpants, a t-shirt.
My part-time job place is a restaurant, and I work with Japanese people. When I was there, I talk to them in Japanese, but sometimes I just don't feel that they have something in common, like a joke or humor. So I just feel that even though I'm speaking good Japanese, I'm not fit in the society or I'm not in their conversation.
Recently, I went on a trip with some of my friends. We went to onsen, and they flat up looked at us and said, "This isn't a place for foreigners," despite there being English on the signs and everything.
I went to take a train ride one day. I sat next to a Japanese person, and they actually got up and left. It's only one experience. If the train is not too crowded, they usually won't sit next to you. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I went to a clothes store once, and when I walked in, there were no signs on changing rooms or anything. But when I was about to change, I noticed there were chains with signs. The sign said that I had to go and ask the stuff specifically. It felt kind of weird, so I waited outside the store after my purchase, and I noticed that they took the signs off.
Really?
Yeah.
They specifically set the chains up just for you.
Yeah, I didn't want to think too much about it.
From my experience, there are a lot of chains on changing rooms in many clothing stores, especially in Harajuku, so don't be too surprised.
I've been rejected from restaurants. People in the restaurant saying the restaurant is full when it was clearly not.
Some dirty looks, of course, but I was pleasantly surprised that in Tokyo area, I haven't faced any direct racism. But then I have some friends. There's a mixed girl. They made a travel to the countryside, and there they were kind of mistreated. Bus drivers didn't stop for them.
Really?
They didn't answer them when they had questions, and they talked in a very rude Japanese.
Here we have Budget Jimin from South Korea.
Ew. Okay, I'm from Japan. There was one time I went on a trip with my international student friends. I was seen as a foreigner at the time, so we had to take a lot of buses, but we didn't know anything about it. I tried to ask those bus drivers, this bus is right or not, and most of those bus drivers were nah. They didn't even want to ask those questions. So probably that happens because of shyness that we have, Japanese people have.
You might be wondering what this guy means by shyness, but to explain, most Japanese people don't want to stand out. This means that a large majority will not help out, especially in situations where one could embarrass themselves. Anyway, thank you guys so much for the support. It has been amazing. Apparently, not even 1% of you guys are subscribed, so if we could even reach 1%, that'd be